Thanks so much, thanks so much. Middletown, how we doing, all right? Wait a minute. We got any rock fans out there? We got any people happy to be living again after all the COVID nonsense, right? There we go. All right, well, thank you all for being here, and I hope you're having a great day. I'm Eddie Trunk from That Metal Show, Sirius XM Radio, and Q104.3 in New York City. And before the band starts playing, we do have a special guest here. This is my friend of many decades, Mr. Mark Weiss, one of the legendary photographers in the history of rock music. And if you need any proof of that, all you need to do is check out Mark's book called The Decade That Rocked, that has incredible photos and album covers and things that he's done in his incredible career. And this book is one of my favorite books to come out in a long time. It's truly phenomenal. The guy who wrote the afterword from it is just, I mean, what a writing star. Well, not me, I don't know. But anyway, when I found out Mark was going to be here, here's the connection to Bon Jovi, who of course you're going to see done by Slippery When Wet here in a second. But Mark is the guy who actually did the album cover for Slippery When Wet with John Bon Jovi back in the day. And I always find this interesting, and Mark has great stories, but just in the interest of time, since this band is called Slippery When Wet, Mark, tell everybody the circumstances that resulted in the album cover that sold like 10 million copies.
All right, I will, Mark, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, I'll try to keep it like quick because it is a long story, but yeah, it was going to be called Wanted Dead or Alive. They switched the title to Slippery When Wet from this road sign that Doc saw going in Vancouver, and we used to go into this strip club called the Five Club in Vancouver, and all these girls would wear these t-shirts, provocative, and they would shower them down in these little plexiglass booths. That's where the idea came from. When we went back to New Jersey, we did this car wash scene with all the girlfriends and the guys washing cars in Bradley Beach, and we found Angela across the street from the shoot, and she ended up being the cover girl for the cover, so that was going to be the cover. They printed up 500,000 copies, and that's when the PMRC started cracking down on things, and they wanted to make sure that that their album was going to be in Walmart and everywhere else. So they got a little nervous. They pulled the plug on it. We had to come up with an idea. John just said, I'm coming up to your studio. Get me a black garbage bag. I said, okay, sure, but what's up? He's like, just get me the garbage bag and some water and a water bottle. I'm like, all right, got it all ready. Comes up. He comes to my studio. I spray water on this plastic bag at his command, and he wrote Slippery When Wet. And he goes, take that, that's the album cover. I said, you want to wait for a Polaroid? He goes, just take it, I'm out of here, send it to the record company, done, let the music speak for itself. And I wanted the album cover with Angela on it because I thought it was pretty cool and people would remember that. And it ends up that it didn't really matter because now that's just as infamous as the other one. So they both work with each other, it's in the book. There's other stories on it. There was actually a bar of soap that this girl was going to use. That was another story. So it's a good read, and it's a good look, and I'm really proud of it. I worked 5 years in the making. And then on New Year's, maybe 2 years ago, I didn't have someone to do an afterword. So on New Year's Day, I reached out to Eddie. I said, Eddie, would you do it? An hour later, he sends it to me, and it was awesome. And I didn't have to edit it. It was perfect. It's in there. We're from Jersey. We've known each other for over 30 years, almost 40 years. And, it's got to be in the water. I don't know. Here you go.
So check that out. Think about that for a second. One of the biggest selling albums of all time, all this thought going into the artwork and the cover, and at the end of the day, Mark scribbling in a plastic hefty bag, John scribbling with his finger, Slippery When Wet, Mark takes the photo, and here we are 35 years later with a band called Slippery When Wet, and one of the biggest selling records ever, of course, so it's a pretty incredible story. But say hello to Mark, check out his book, it's fantastic. Thank you, Mark. Round of applause for Mark Weiss. Amazing photos. That's just one of a million stories and incredible photos in the book from all different rock bands from the 80s.